Hi, Rashmi. Are you able to follow up today's concept?
Hello?
Yeah, Rashmi.
Yes,
Are you able to follow up today's concept?
yes, yes.
Yeah. Any confusion so far on this?
No.
No, right? That's great. Uh, Hi, Vijanti. This is the last session which I just wanted to conduct just to clear out a small concept. Um, Let me know if you are able to see my Excel file.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You can, right? Now, there are two things which I just want, two or three things which I just want to and make you understand. One is this. You any doubts on this approximate function so far? Uh,
No, sir, it's clear.
Clear, right?
No, sir.
What about exact function? It's clear, right? So
Yeah.
once you understood this now, you these two things, if you practice on the file which I've sent you, this will make you more powerful. Very easy to understand how you want to do this. Now I'm going to just clear three things with you guys. First thing is these are something like an addition, okay, which will make your life easy while working on Excel functions. Okay, many times we are not able to understand or not able to remember or recollect the range which we have picked up, like from B4, sorry, A4 to D12 in this case. Okay, say the range was quite large in real world, it can span over so many columns, or it can span over so many rows. Okay, you cannot remember that entire range all the time. Okay, so one beautiful way is that you go to this reference table. Okay, you select the whole reference table, and then you go to, in the formula bar, there's something called as name manager. Okay, there's something called as name manager. Once you click on this name manager basically says that if there is a fixed range of cells which I'm going to frequently use in my formula, I will give it a name. Okay, like in India, we have a fashion that every gully, every road is given a name, like MG Road, yeah, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Road, yeah, something Kalpana Chawla Road. All these roads are given basis of famous personalities. Okay, like that, I can go and define a range of cells in Excel with a name which is more unique to me, which I can easily refer to. For example, this range which I've selected for you guys, okay, this range is my product list. Okay, so what I can do is I can just click on new over here, and I can say that there is a name which I want to give to this range. Let me give it a range. Now, my thumb rule is whenever I give a name, okay, to this particular list, like this, I always start with an underscore so that uh, I can understand which names are defined by me or which names are defined by my colleagues or anyone who is working with me on a shared file. So there can be a possibility that on a single file, three or four people may be working and they may have their own style. So I would rather refer to this range of cells using my own unique way. So I always start with an underscore and I give a proper valid name without any spaces. You cannot give any spaces in between, but you can keep underscores if you want. Okay. For example, I'm giving it as my product list. I can keep it this way, or I can also give it like this: my underscore product underscore list. Now, once I've given a name, I'll say whether this name, can I use it on what level? Can I use it only on a particular sheet, or can I use it on the whole workbook? So by default, it's a good practice to keep it on a whole workbook so that no matter whatever sheet you're referring to or working on, you can always go and refer to your previous sheet, and you can pick up this range from there. So I'm going to keep it as my workbook, or the scope is workbook. And what is the range which I'm giving it to this? So you can see it's picking up the name of my sheet, that is a 04 dot vlookup underscore or a dash hex exact. It's picking up that name, and then it gives you uh, a range of whatever cells I picked up from A4 to D12, and it's getting locked automatically. It's That is the default behavior of Excel. So I just say okay. So once I'm done okay, I can just go and close this particular thing. Now if I'm maybe anywhere in the Excel file, okay, maybe in this sheet also, or maybe in this sheet again, I'll go back to the sheet. I'll be anywhere. It's on I-18 right now. And if I want to refer to that Excel table again, I can just click on this name box. I can refer to my product list. The moment I select this, it picks up the range which I had defined. If I'm on this sheet, for example, if I go into this and I select my product list, it comes back to the previous sheet in which I had defined this range, and it picks up this list. So that's a default behavior in which I can use my product list. So how do this particular thing help me now? It helps me in this particular way. Say, for example, uh, instead of putting this formula like this, VLOOKUP, I now go and say VLOOKUP, and I refer to the cell which is which is going to be A15, right? I select this as A15. Now, once I've selected this A15, I put a comma. Now it's asking me for a table range. What I can do is, instead of giving this whole range, okay, manually, I can just press F3. F3 is one way in which you can get a list of all the names which are defined by you in your Excel file. So in this F3, you can see the list which I had defined over here, the range, which is my product list. I can just go and select it. I can say, okay. So what happens is, instead of giving me the Excel range, okay, like the way it was giving it previously from A4 to D12, it now gives me the name, which looks like my product list. And I can just say comma, and then I can say 3 comma sorry 2 comma 0, right? 2 comma 0, and the moment I do this, I again get 18.95. But in the previous state, what we learned was we were giving it a range A4 to D12, and this time we are giving it a customized name of my range, which is always going to be fixed. It will never change. So I give it my product list. So what happens is, anyone who is auditing your work, anyone who is actually validating your work, whether you have done correctly or not, it becomes easy for them to understand your formula. It says that, okay, you're doing a VLOOKUP, you're doing a VLOOKUP of sunshine, then you're going to something called as my product list. So they understand you have defined your own custom list. They can go and search out this own custom list. They can go back to probably the name manager. They will go and select this, and then they will click on this, and they will understand where exactly this list is found. Okay, that's their duty. But the way it becomes easy for them to read this particular formula, that you're using a lookup of sunshine, which belongs to some my product list, and in that list you're looking for a second column. So that's how it becomes easy for other people to comprehend your formula, and your life also becomes very easy, because you don't need to go and manually go and select this range over here. You can just refer to this name manager and give it your own customized list over here, and you can save your time. Now, tell me, is this better way, or do you think the previous way was better?
This is better, sir, because you don't have to select the range. No? You can directly go to the
Correct. I can
name.
just press F3 and I can select the range. I can use it in my Excel, right? So that was one concept which I wanted to make you understand. The second concept which I would like you to understand is mm, that's one. Okay. Okay. Now, H lookup. Are you able to see this Excel range of rows over here? What do you think is the difference between this defined from 44 to 47 over here and this Excel range? Do you see any difference as such in this and this? Ladies, are you able to understand the question which I'm trying to throw at you?
The data looks same, it's just rearranged in a different manner.
Correct. Now, the thing is, this is how the Excel table was, and this is how the Excel table is now. It's only a transpose of it. We always say it as a transpose. Okay, it's starting with the description as a first row. It gives you all the product names over here, and then the second row is giving you all the part number over here, and third row is giving you all the flight range, and fourth row is giving you the price. The columns are a bit shuffled, but more or less it's the same data which you can see it on your screen. But the arrangement, as you correctly said, one is where you're going like this vertically, you're going from top to bottom, whereas in this case, you're going from left to right. So left to right means you're going in a horizontal manner. Getting my
Yes.
point? So that is the
Yes.
reason why if you get this kind of reference table, okay, which is placed horizontally your data, you can use something called as H lookup. Here,
Mm.
instead of VLOOKUP, I'll just look H lookup. It will again ask me those four parameters. What is your lookup value? I am looking for Carlota. Now it will ask me, what is your table array? So my table, in this case, my table's first row should always contain all the valid values which I'm trying to do a lookup. So once I selected that range, I lock that range, I put a comma, I say I'm interested in price. Price is in the fourth row from the top. So this becomes the first row, this becomes the second row, this becomes the third row, and this is the fourth row. So in this case, I will say 4 comma 0. I'm looking for exact match, and that's it. Once I press enter, you will see Carlota is somewhere here, and the price for Carlota is 28.95, and that's what we get over here. So that is all I had to teach you guys about VLOOKUP. It's the most powerful function, but very commonly used, but people don't understand the power of it, the in depth of what kind of errors which may appear from VLOOKUP, how to deal with those errors. People are not able to understand those, and I hope this session which I've shown you will really help you to cement your base on VLOOKUPs, so that when you start using it in your daily BAU work, it will really give you a golden reward. People really respect those people who are able to do a very good successful lookups, both VLOOKUP as well as HLOOKUP. So you don't need to copy and create those complex formulas. You can just use a lookup, and it will give you wonders, wonderful power to your Excel knowledge.
Sir, I have a question. Where all this thing is used, we look up. Can you give me some more examples?
VLOOKUP is used in things like, say, there is a repository of your data. Okay, say I have a certain transaction which happened in a trade. Okay, in a trade, I'm talking about trades and done in banks. Okay, what happens is that we get a very limited data, very short data, because you cannot keep a very large data in repository with you. So you need to keep it something like the trade happened on a particular product, so you keep something like a product number. Okay, the
Okay.
trade happened with a particular counterparty. So you say it's a counterparty number or counterparty ID. Then you
Hmm.
also refer to something called as what was the industry type of the
Hmm.
counterparty from with whom you traded. So you capture
Hmm.
something called as industry code ID.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
so all these are numbers for you. But a person who is actually doing an audit on this particular transaction, he may not remember what is the product code, or product code represents what kind of product number or product description, or what counterparty ID represents what counterparty name, or industry type ID represents what kind of industry description is it. So we always keep something called as a reference file, a major file, a mapping file, where all these product IDs are mentioned over there. And against that product ID, we also know what is a product description, who is the owner of that product, what department owns that product. And then we also keep a counterparty ID list about what counterparty ID is it a corporate office, is it an individual customer, or is it a hedge fund. So all these different people are given different product IDs or counterparty IDs or industry type IDs. So to you, the data which you get from the system is very shrunk form. You need to uh, eh, you need to do the what do you say? There's a word to it. Um, you need to enhance that data. You need to make sense of those product IDs and industry type ID and the counterparty ID, and you need to uh, make it understand or expand that data to understand what that ID represents, what is the description of that particular thing, who owns that particular product. So you will enrich that data. Yeah, enrichment is the word which I was looking out for. So you enrich your data by adding these new columns of description which weren't there in your base data. While doing that enrichment, there is a place
So
where
you're
you
not
need.
audible.
Hello, am I not
Yeah,
audible?
now you're audible. Yeah, now
Okay.
you're audible.
So what I was trying to say is that you need to enrich your data. So based only on the IDs, you cannot do that enrichment. You have to use a VLOOKUP, refer to your mapping table or to your reference table, get that values of that product ID, what that product ID stands for, what is the product description, what is the product name, what is the product owner's name, who owns that product. You enrich your data, and then the transaction makes sense that this transaction happened with so and so department, where the product was actually maybe it's a CD which is actually called as some kind of commercial deposit, or it was a hedge fund, or it was a treasury note. Okay, all these things are identified by using those unique product IDs, and to enrich those IDs, there's a reference table given to you. So wherever you see a reference table given to you, those are the places where I would say that VLOOKUP will come into place to enrich your data.
Okay. So one last question in
Yeah,
because you're marking the range. Now, if I want to update this table, then automatically will this figures also change, or I need to go back and again select the range?
very good question. Now that's really a very good question. So what you're trying to say is that, yeah, if this table data range changes, right? Say
Yeah,
it was still here. Now there are few more products which came into picture, right?
correct.
So let's do one thing. Let's try to enter some products over here. Say P1, P2, and P3. Three products were added. Oops. Did I do anything wrong over here? Yeah, I got rid of this. P1, P2, and P3. So I have three products added to my list. Okay, and I'm giving them some value over here. Let me copy these values. Yeah, and let's also copy this particular thing, same thing over here. So I want to know now is that will my VLOOKUP function work correctly? So let's see in the old way where we were giving a reference, you can see clearly that your reference table has increased, but the formula which you had used is still selecting your previous setting, is still selecting till D12. It's not taking the new range. So you'll have to manually go and change this range for your formulas. So once you do this, it will work for you in that particular way. But let's look at this way in which we did the my product list. Okay. If I go to name manager, and in this name manager, if I go to product list over here, again, I look at this range. You can see that there's a dotted line appearing from A4 to D12. Okay. Now, what would be the good way to tackle this problem is that if I have defined this name range over here, like my product list, okay, if I go and change this name range from D12 to D15 to define that this is a new range, and once I'm done with this, then I need to make that change only once in the name manager, and it will work for all my cells automatically. Whereas in this particular case, I'll have to go and manually change this particular thing as 15, and then I'll have to copy the cell and paste it below to the rest of the cells so that all the cells can work correctly. You got my point?
Yes.
Okay, now this is a hash only because again that stupid thing which I did was still there. So uh, there are different ways, okay, in which people deal these complexities. That's a very good question which you raised, Vajanti. But how do you deal with this situation? If you had used this my product list way of defining it in name manager, the change would have been only in once, and you don't need to make the changes in any of the formulas. The formulas will automatically get updated.
Okay,
Getting my
just like
point?
hurdle.
Yes. I think you like the hurdle way.
Hmm.
All right. That's great.
Hmm.
Any other questions you have?
That's it, sir.
Rashmi, any question from your side?
No, sir. Hello?
Yeah. Hello.
No, sir, no question.
No questions.
Hello?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. With that, I would like to call off this session. I hope you guys enjoyed VLOOKUP. Please practice this VLOOKUP as much as possible. This is one of the most fundamental questions asked in the interviews. VLOOKUP. So we will keep building on this. But once you have a proper base knowledge of VLOOKUP, only then the new knowledge which I'll keep updating you about match function. Then I will use VLOOKUP and match. Then I will use index match. Uh, those things will make sense only when you understand what VLOOKUP is. Only then the new knowledge will really help you to build even more stronger foundations. But please practice VLOOKUP so that we can build new knowledge on this, and we can understand some more complex situations in Excel. Okay. So thank you guys. Have a good week. Please take care of your health and enjoy a lot and work with Excel. Have fun. Okay.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir. Same to you.
Sure.
Thank you.